Ladies and gentlemen, hold on tight, because the story I'm about to share makes every so-called TV feud look like child's play. This isn't just another messy back and forth. No, this is a storm waiting to erupt, and at the center of it all is none other than Papoose. When he finally decided to clap back, he didn't come with light jabs or a few spicy words. He came with firepower, so strong it felt like dropping a nuclear weapon in the middle of a water balloon fight. His target? Claressa Shields' brand new fiancé, a man who's been flaunting his charm, but according to whispers from the streets, has a past that's dirtier than the floor of a dive bar bathroom. For months, the rumors floated around quietly in the background. People whispered about shady deals, hidden skeletons, and questionable decisions. But no one had solid proof.
It was just talk.
Then, out of nowhere, Papoose shifted from sitting silently on the sidelines to going full demolition mode. And let me tell you, when Papoose decides to speak, he doesn't pour tea into cups. He dumps the whole pot and floods the block. Insiders say he's been holding back information for years. Messages, files, maybe even recordings that could turn this fairy tale engagement into one of the most embarrassing scandals the sports world has ever seen. The question everyone is asking is, why now? Why choose this exact moment to strike, right when Claressa's fiancé thought he was untouchable? And more importantly, what exactly does Papoose have in his possession that could ruin a man's image overnight? Those are the questions making the internet spin, because one thing's for sure, this isn't random. It feels calculated. Now, let's talk about this fiancé. On the surface, he walks around like a man who has it all. A smooth smile, designer clothes, his arm wrapped around Claressa like they're royalty. But behind all that, people say the foundation is shaky, like a castle built on sand. Word on the streets is that Papoose has been sitting on a folder of secrets. Not just one file, but a whole package labeled, "Open at your own risk." The tension first bubbled 2 weeks ago when Claressa's fiancé posted one of those over-the-top Instagram captions about how haters fuel his greatness. You know the type, loud, cocky, begging for attention. Within 2 days, an anonymous Twitter account popped up and started posting cryptic messages. They didn't mention his name directly, but the hints were clear. One post said, "Funny how greatness starts right after you steal someone else's shot." Another read, "Receipts are best served by the ones you least expect." People immediately started tagging Papoose, connecting dots that hadn't even been drawn yet. For months, people had been whispering about bad blood between Papoose and this man, but nobody could pin it down. Then, during a private afterparty in Vegas, a so-called insider swears they overheard Papoose tell a close friend, "I'm done watching him pretend to be the good guy." He didn't drop a name, but in gossip math, that's like tossing a match into a pool of gasoline. Fast forward to last weekend. Papoose walks into a charity gala looking calm, sharp, and collected. But as he passes Claressa's fiancé, cameras catch him muttering under his breath, "We both know what you did in Detroit." That one sentence sent fans into overdrive. Suddenly, everyone was digging through Detroit's boxing history, old fight flyers, records, even decade-old Facebook photos, desperate to figure out what Papoose meant. Things escalated quickly. A former associate of the fiancé slid into the DMs of a popular gossip page, sharing what looked like screenshots of old PayPal transactions. The payments were oddly specific. $1, $342 here, $2,760 there, with notes like event cover, hush fund, and one that simply said, "Thanks for keeping quiet." The gossip page posted the screenshots with a caption, "Is this who we think it is?" Within minutes, the internet went wild. Claressa's fans were in denial. Papoose's supporters grabbed popcorn and settled in for the show. Then came the bombshell. Word spread that in Detroit, the fiancé may have been tied to shady underground fights, matches that were fixed, alliances that fell apart, and money that changed hands in ways that never made it onto official records. To some, it sounded like movie drama. But anyone who's followed boxing long enough knows, life in that world often mirrors the dirtiest scripts. And just when people thought it couldn't get spicier, Papoose made his chess move. He posted a photo on Instagram. Just a manila envelope sitting on a table. No words. No caption, just the timestamp. Fans lost their minds. Everyone assumed it was proof, waiting to be dropped. Claressa, meanwhile, had just gone on a podcast gushing about her fiancé, talking about how people try to break us, but we're unshakable. Within hours, an audio recording leaked online. The voice sounded eerily like her fiancé. In the clip, he swore repeatedly and then said, "They can't prove anything if the paperwork's gone." The internet froze. Even neutral fans raised eyebrows. Of course, Claressa's camp immediately dismissed the clip as fake. A smear job. But then fans noticed something strange. Her fiancé deactivated his old Twitter account the very next day. If you've got nothing to hide, why erase your tracks? That's what everyone was asking. Papoose stayed silent, but his circle didn't. One of his close friends tweeted, "Sometimes silence is the loudest move." Another wrote, "He tried to warn her." The message was clear. This wasn't random gossip. This was the calm before the storm. By Tuesday, the drama reached new heights. A brand new Instagram account appeared under the name The Real Detroit Files. No followers, no following, just one post. A blurry photo of what looked like an old boxing license with a fiancé's name marked suspended. Investigation pending. That was it. No caption, just hashtags. Hashtag before the gloves and hashtag truth never expires. Within hours, the account had tens of thousands of followers. Boxing forums from Vegas to New York lit up like fireworks. People dug deeper. They pulled old reports from 2015 that mentioned a fighter being investigated for unsportsmanlike conduct and breach of contract after suspicious fight outcomes. The fighter's name wasn't listed, but the timing matched perfectly with when Claressa's fiancé mysteriously vanished from Detroit's boxing scene. Then came the smoking gun, or at least what people thought was one. The new page posted a screenshot of an email with the subject line, "Payment schedule for event manipulation." The body of the message? Just 2 words, "Handled cash." Fans went crazy. Some screamed fake. Others swore it was real. Meanwhile, Papoose posted a story of himself in the car, laughing silently, shaking his head with a smirk that said everything without saying a word. It was like watching a movie villain who knows the final twist before anyone else. Claressa's PR team scrambled. They released a statement calling the Instagram account a smear campaign designed to ruin her fiancé's perfect image. But the damage was already done. The court of public opinion was already leaning heavily against him.
Tweets poured in.
One went viral. "You can't be king of the ring if your crown came from the pawn shop." Another read, "Claressa's fiancé out here fighting ghosts from Detroit while Papoose sets the timer on the bomb." If you thought the story was over, think again. What happened next turned whispers into shouts, and small sparks into a full-blown firestorm. The old boxing promoter who spoke out didn't drop names directly, but the hints he gave lined up so perfectly with Claressa's fiancé's past that nobody needed confirmation. Every clue was like a puzzle piece, sliding right into place. Suddenly, the internet wasn't just curious, they were hungry. People begged for more, demanding details, connecting dots, and refusing to let it go. That's when the paranoia started creeping in. Instead of standing tall and defending himself, Claressa's fiancé quietly changed his Instagram settings. He didn't shut down comments completely, but he limited them. And as anyone who follows scandals knows, that's as good as a neon sign flashing, "I've got something to hide." It was like painting the word "guilty" across his own page. Fans noticed immediately, and the speculation tripled. Then, just when things seemed like they couldn't get more chaotic, the biggest leak yet dropped. Late on Wednesday night, the mysterious Real Detroit Files account posted a 20-second audio clip. The voice was deep and slightly distorted, but anyone with ears could hear the resemblance. It sounded way too much like the fiancé. In the background, you could hear muffled club music and chatter, and then his voice came through clear as day. "Look, I got what I needed." He got what he needed. "It's done. Tell him not to call again." Only 20 seconds long. That was it. But it was enough to blow the lid off everything. Who was he? What did they need? What deal was done? Within hours, gossip blogs and YouTubers were dissecting every syllable. By Thursday morning, hashtags like hashtag Detroit deal and hashtag who is he were trending across social media. Papoose, meanwhile, still hadn't spoken directly. But he wasn't exactly quiet either.